Hey there, good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Ryan Shoptaw with your tropical weather update. All eyes on Tropical Storm Bertha, formed in the last 12 to 15 hours in the eastern Gulf. Now we're watching it very closely. As of the latest advisory, the 1 p.m. advisory from the Hurricane Center, winds haven't changed. Still 60 miles per hour on the sustained wind speeds around the center of circulation. Wind gusts up to 70, moving northwest at 5. So that's the biggest change. Earlier, this morning, it was moving at around 3 miles per hour. Now it's at 5. So it's gaining some momentum as it moves towards New Orleans and southeastern Louisiana later tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon. Now, instead of a northwest movement, I expect later tonight it'll move more directly west, and that's something to certainly watch. Meantime, if you have any friends or family anywhere from Tampa Bay to especially the panhandle of Florida, they're getting soaked. You can see these tropical bands of rain that are providing these training thunderstorms that just rain over the same spots hour after hour, day by day. That's why tropical storms and hurricanes are so concerning, because flooding rains, coastal storm surge, all these factors working in tandem can cause problems in a short amount of time. But yeah, Tropical Storm Bertha, winds are at 60 miles per hour, wind gusts at 70. And it's moving northwest at about 5 miles per hour. Here's the latest cone that came out from the Hurricane Center. It comes out every few hours when there's a hurricane or a storm out there. Now, again, there's the stats on Bertha, but look at the movement later tonight through tomorrow morning. And something to note, closely is that later tomorrow, before it makes landfall, the Hurricane Center is calling for a weakening storm. Right now, 60 miles per hour, but we're calling for about a 45 to 50 mile per hour tropical storm. Why is that? Well, two different things are fighting against this Tropical Storm Bertha. One, it's going to be more coastal and land interaction. That'll eventually weaken it as it approaches at Houston and southeast Texas later this week. But number two, which I think is most important, is the amount of wind shear that's moving in from the north and northeast. Aloft, anywhere from 5 to 15 to 20,000 feet. Winds are moving anywhere from 30 to 50 miles per hour from the north and northeast. What that does is when tropical storms and hurricanes need to strengthen, they need to be vertically stacked. The lower level center circulation and the warm core low right above it need to be vertically stacked. And if they're not, they're tilted, and the storm can't strengthen efficiently. The warm air can't rise, and the storm can intensify by spinning counterclockwise in the atmosphere. So again, a weakening storm as it moves farther west. By the time it makes it towards Houston, Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, it's a remnant low because of the second factor, wind shear, but number one as well, also the amount of land interaction that it's going to be experiencing the next couple of days. Not to mention, after it moves off from New Orleans, it'll disrupt the flow even more. So again, the spaghetti models reflect that. Most of them have it moving due west. A couple of them have it making more of a southerly trajectory, maybe towards Corpus Christi, but those are some of the outliers. Most guidance have it paralleling the Gulf Coast, anywhere from Louisiana to southeast Texas, and then by about Friday, making a turn to the north as it starts interacting with the ridge of high pressure out near North Texas, Oklahoma, and that pulls on it and starts to weaken it even more by the end of this upcoming weekend. Here's some of the wind speeds by about Wednesday afternoon. So any friends or family between Mobile, New Orleans, a good chance they see anywhere from, let's say, 30 to 50 mile an hour gusts, mainly towards coastal locations. Watch as we fast forward time into Friday. We may see some breezy to gusty winds, towards Galveston, towards the beach, but it's going to be very, very minimal, I think. Anywhere from maybe 20 to 30 mile an hour gusts as this remnant low really weakens. I think the main concerns with Bertha is the next 24 to 36 hours, mainly for Louisiana and New Orleans and towards the panhandle of Florida, where it's continuing to strengthen out nearly south of the panhandle of Florida. So tropical storm warnings are already in effect, bracing for impact. Wind speeds over 40 miles per hour expected for this particular location. Here's a look at high-resolution forecast guidance. Here's tomorrow morning. The low-level sensor is approaching New Orleans, probably 20 to 30 miles offshore, and then sometime I'd say during the day tomorrow and into the evening hours, that's when it officially makes landfall. Now, note this. Watch this very closely. Notice how the storm, first of all, is a little lopsided. Most of the more organized storm activity by tomorrow afternoon is mainly on the southern side of low pressure. more just bands of rain, scattered showers trying to wrap around because it's drawing in drier air from the north. And then not to mention, it's interacting with all the wind shear from the north, so it's starting to spread out the rain laterally, right? And you know, in hurricanes and tropical storms, the rain is focused usually around the center circulation. But watch what happens in a Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, the rain almost spreads out over a longer period of distance. It covers more real estate instead of a very symmetrical tropical warm core low. It becomes more elongated, and that's what we're looking at Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, as it approaches Houston and southeast Texas. More clouds for us, maybe an isolated shower during the day Thursday, maybe a scattered storm during the day Friday with heaviest rain east. But bottom line, this almost, while it may remain its circulation, it'll keep its circulation by the end of this week, you know, as it crosses over the Louisiana-Texas border. The overall rain becomes less organized and just spreads out over a long period, over a long distance between open water and, you know, East Texas. It becomes elongated. This area of low pressure just kind of drives in rain, some wind, but that's pretty much it. That'll be the extent of our impacts here. Larger, you know, swells, you know, increased wave heights, and some scattered rain, maybe upwards of 1/4 to 1/2 inch of rain with higher amounts way to the east towards Louisiana. But again, I think, you know, impacts here in Houston and southeast Texas, aside from, you know, elevated rip current risks toward the beach, increased swells, large wave heights, and some areas of pockets of heavy rain, that'll be the extent of our impact here in the area. So again, we'll watch that closely every day. Every advisory that comes out from the Hurricane Center will provide details on any shifts in the track, and that could definitely, you know, change things. But right now, impacts are looking low to moderate. All right, here's temperatures out the door: 94 in Houston, 91 at Brenham, 92 at Beaumont, 91 at Galveston. Heat advisories today. Bottom line, it's going to be hot, but very, very tropical and humid. Heat indices upwards between 105 to 108 at times. Please be careful. Drink water. Stay hydrated. Check up on your friends and family, because daytime highs just get hotter and hotter. 101 Thursday to 99 on Friday. These rain chances, we may adjust them depending on exactly what Bertha does in the coming days. But again, as it experiences two things, wind shear and land interaction, that'll be detriment to it and really weaken it and become more of an area of low pressure, a remnant low as it approaches Houston. And that'll create, again, scattered showers, some strong winds offshore, but otherwise not too much of an impact here locally. 99 Friday to 98 on Saturday, and the very similar weather pattern going into Sunday and early parts of next week under mostly quiet conditions. More updates on Tropical Storm Bertha in the coming hours here on KHOU. In the meantime, I'm meteorologist Ryan Shoptaw. Have a great week, be safe, and stay up to date on the latest here on KHOU on Tropical Storm Bertha.